And I'm still just letting people in. So if you see me looking a bit manic at the screen, that's just me letting people in. So we're going to start from sitting, if that's okay for you, because we're going to do some breathing around the idea of energy and the three major pranas. There's actually 5 pranas. We've been working with the 3 of them. So this morning, we're going to be talking about the energy called Samana. So this is the equalising energy. I'm going to put it in the chat box. If I could, they've changed the settings on Zoom, so I'm not even sure if I can find where the chat box is. Hold on. Here we are. So just in case it's helpful to you, that's how you spell Samana. That, as I say, this means the equalising energy. So I've had a few of you asking questions about when to use the pranas. And if you've missed any of the previous sessions on prana, they are up on my YouTube channel. So I just want to, knowing that talking is tiring to listen to, particularly if you've got exceptional fatigue, I just want to very briefly outline what energy means, what prana means in terms of yoga and Vedic science, and what these 3 energies are: prana, apana, samana, which we're looking at today, and when we might be using them. So they're all pranas. So whether we say samana or apana, they're all different types of prana. And prana means universal life force energy. It means the very essence and vitality of life. And the major way that we are in yoga, that we are said to take energy into our body and utilize it, is through the breath and the way that we breathe. And different breathing techniques, also known as pranayama, can help to soften restrictions in different layers of our being. And this helps prana, or energy, to flow more effectively. So very briefly, that is the thesis behind how prana can operate. And it nourishes our chakras. It nourishes our whole being. So the first kind of energy that we did 2 weeks ago is called apana. And apana is focused on the exhalation, and it's concerned with releasing, letting go, and making space and detoxification. So in fact, Jill, I think you might be here, you were asking me, when would we use apana, when we would use prana? Well, the truth is that in yoga therapy, we would be working with apana for maybe several months. So we would be creating space in the system in order that prana can then come in, and it's got kind of like a clear system to operate in. So as I am a yoga therapist, so it's usually apana that I am working with when we do our breathing, when you come to these classes. So the second energy is prana itself, and that's much more concerned with the inhalation. So you could just think prana inhalation, apana exhalation. And in terms of science, prana relates to the sympathetic nervous system. So it's more about doing and stimulation. And apana works with the sympathetic nervous system. So that's more about relaxation and resting, which is why we need to relax and rest before we start to energize, because we want to make sure that we don't overstimulate. But I'll give you an example of how we might use prana. So if we're in need of a little bit of extra energy, but we don't want to overstimulate, and I used to do this when I worked at Claridge House, the Quaker Centre, on retreats, on the last day when people were driving or leaving, we might inhale and then hold for 3 seconds before we exhale. So that's working more on the energy of apana, on the inhalation. So that's just an example where we need an extra boost. We're focusing more on the inhalation. And then finally today we're working on samana. So I'll just explain that this is located at the navel, and it's what is said to be the manifesting energy for what we consume. It brings in a sense of balance and healthy self-esteem. So I hope that explains, as I said, we're going to work a bit more with that today. But that explains more what these three pranas mean. I'd also just like to say that, very interestingly, if you have long COVID, and even if you don't, science is using a breathing technique called coherent breathing or balanced breathing. And this is an even inhale and an even exhalation. And this is what we're going to be working with this morning, because that, in terms of yoga, is a Samana breathing practice. So depending how you're feeling, whether you need balance in your body, whether you need to relax, release and let go, or whether you need a bit of stimulation, this is when you would choose which prana to work with. And you've got all three recordings, or you will have, on YouTube. So if you want to work in a particular way, you can go to that recording and choose them. Choose the one that you feel is right for you. So with that said, I just want to show you a diagram. Some of you might have seen me use this before. I'm just going to hold this up to the camera. So on the top line, you will see this kind of jagged thing. How many of us are breathing when we're not paying attention to our breath? We might be going, maybe through the mouth, maybe from the upper chest, when we're not thinking about it. And this is going to make us feel quite agitated and tired. What we're aiming for is this lower line. So it's more like, I drew this and then that's a bit more even. So in, out, inhale, out, inhale, out. And there is an exercise you might like to do now or after the class where you actually get a pen and a piece of paper and you draw how you're breathing. So you just close your eyes and you inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So this is called drawing the breath. So if you like to do that as an exercise now or later, just see what your own breathing rhythm is like. Now, all this talk about breath, I am aware that for some people who have trauma or long COVID, talking about the breath can make you feel anxious. So if that's the case, then just focus on something else, such as the movement in the belly or the softness of your hands or an image of a loved one, if that makes you feel more comfortable. So that's enough of me talking now, and I'm sorry if I spoke for too long. So please now come into your body, into a comfortable seated position. And if it's comfortable for you, just close your eyes. And then just take the pattern of how you are now. So just take a moment or two to welcome yourself. You might like to take a hand to your heart just to say hello to yourself. This sense of I am here, I'm in my body, I'm okay. And even if you don't feel you're okay, just say I'm okay here. In this moment, I'm okay. And just observe any parts of you that might feel jangly or discombobulated or not quite here. Anxiety, pain, fatigue. And then the big ask is, can you welcome that too? Can you allow that to be? So instead of pushing it away, can you say, that's okay, you can be here now in this being. And then you can drop your hand. Take a moment or two just to think about how you are sitting, if you are sitting. So think about your posture, maybe opening the ribs up a little, taking the shoulders away from the ears, having that lovely sense of space between the crown of the head and the tailbone. So you're not slumping down over the diaphragm. And then we're going to start with some humming, because we know that humming is really good on all kinds of levels. It's very good for toning the vagal nerve. It's very good for increasing nitric oxide, but it's also helping the vibration helps to settle us and to balance us. So again, everything is an invitation. If you don't want to hum, that's fine. But if you're okay with it, we're going to breathe in through the nose if we can, and then hum the breath out. Inhale. Just do that 3 or 4 times in your own breathing rhythm and see if you can make the in breath and the out breath of an even, so that they are equal length. And if they're not, that's fine too. And then we're just going to practice this balanced breathing, Samana, or the coherent breath. So just to help us, to remind us about diaphragmatic breathing, take one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Remember not to breathe too deeply, thinking of the breath as being slow and low. So we're going to breathe through the nose if we can. And if you can't yet do that, that's fine. So I'm going to start by counting. So I'd like you to count in for 4 and out for 4. And if that ratio doesn't work for you, you do something that feels right. So it might be in for 2, out for 2, or in for 5 and out for 5, just using a ratio that feels right. But see if you can use an even inhalation and an even exhalation. So just breathing a little further down into the lower hand. So the hand on the heart is relatively still. And if you can, breathing through the nose, keeping the jaw soft and the shoulders soft. Remembering you don't need to look at the screen. And then drop the counting and continue to breathe with an even inhalation and even exhalation. Slowing the breath down if you can a little, but not making it too slow. And if you find any of this challenging, always return to your normal breathing rhythm so you're not forcing anything. Remembering anything is fine. Just accepting yourself as you are in this moment. And then when you're ready, drop your hands to your knees and just take a moment or two to observe how you are. See if there's any subtle changes from when you made the observation a few minutes ago. See if you can soften everything down, the eyes, the jaw, shoulders. Just observing if the breath has affected you in any way, however subtle. And if you can't see any difference, that's fine too. And what we're going to do, this was a Samana breathing practice. When we come to lying in a minute, I'm then going to give you an apana breathing practice. And again, you can observe if that feels different. And then at the end of our session today, I'm going to do a prana, very short prana one. And again, you can just observe how that affects you. So you can begin to just observe how these different breathing practices have a very subtle effect on the whole being. But the idea is that they have a positive healing effect on the whole being. And then you can, throughout the week, use whichever one that you feel you need whenever you're in a particular state. So for example, if you're feeling stressed, you would use apana. If you need a little bit of energy, you'd use prana. And if you need just balancing, you use samana. So now we're just going to take our fingers and massage around our jaw. And then we're going to do a little bit of tapping just to help us be really connected and into our bodies, just to help us ground ourselves. So just start with gentle fingertips on your chest, just doing some tapping. This really helps to bring us into our body. And then we're going to do this up and down one of our arms. So in my case, I'm taking the left arm out. With the right hand, just tap up and down the inner arm. And then turn the arm round and on the top of the arm. And then just tap around the shoulder area. And then drop the left arm, and we do that on the other side. So tapping up and down the inner arm. And then turn the arm and tap on the top of the arm. And then around the shoulder. And we're going to rub our hands together. Then we're going to tap on the belly. And then with gentle fingertips, we're just going to tap on the crown of the head. And you can tap around the face, just feeling it tingle and waking up. And then drop the hands to the knees. Take a moment or two just to observe. And with this idea of balance, if there's anywhere that you feel needs rubbing or tapping, maybe stamping your feet or rubbing your legs, you just do what feels right. And then using the chants now, we're going to float our arms up and down, thinking of this balance of Samana. So I'm going to demonstrate. You can look at your screen if you like, but otherwise just listen to my voice. So I'm going to inhale for about a count of 3 or 4, and then I'm going to chant my arms down. Samana Namaha. Take an extra breath if you need to when you chant. And if you don't want to chant, that's fine, or you can just hum. Inhaling, the arms come up. Samana Namaha. Inhaling, floating the arms up. Waterfalling them back. Samana Namaha. If your energy is okay, do that 2 or 3 times more in your own breathing rhythm, in your own pitch. If you're feeling tired, just rest with the hands on the knees. So always listening into the body, always honoring what feels right for you. And when you've finished, again, just hands to the knees, eyes closed. Being in your body, feeling your feet on the floor, if you're on a chair, feeling your bottom on the earth, on the chair. Just that feeling of the body holding you. And observing a balanced breathing rhythm. And then before we come down to the mat, we're going to do our somatic holds. If you're not familiar with these, don't worry, I'm going to explain, because these are really balancing and nourishing. I thought this is such a nice thing to do for a Samana practice. So just start by holding your hand Cupping your head in your hands, face in your hands. So one hand either side around the cheeks. And take 3 slow breaths here, thinking about coherent breathing, equal inhale, equal exhale. Just feel the breath and the holding is nourishing you. This is all about nourishment. Prana is nourishment. And then we're going to take one hand around the forehead and the other hand comes around the base of the cranium. And again, 3 Samana breaths here, equal inhale, equal exhale. And then take the hand that's around the back of the lower head and take it to the heart. So you've got one hand on the forehead, one hand on the heart. If your hands are tired and you want to swap them around, that's fine too. And again, 3 breaths here, equal inhalation and equal exhalation. And then finally, take the hand that's on the forehead, drop it to the belly. So one hand is on the heart, one hand is on the belly. 3 breaths here. Coherent breathing, Samana breathing, equal inhale, equal exhale. Dropping your hands when you're ready. Just taking a moment or two to observe. And then when you're ready, and if you would like, please come down to lying. So remember, like everything we do, lying is a choice how you do this. You can remain sitting if that's preferable. You can lie on a bed or a sofa. You can lie on your front or your side, but classically we lie on our back. And I always recommend you start with the knees bent, just to allow the back to settle and relax before we stretch out the legs. And take a moment or two to explore how you are most comfortable. So probably you would like something under your head. And maybe the arms are a comfortable distance away from the body, palms turned up. Or you might like to rest the palms on your belly. And just take a moment or two to explore the 2 surfaces of the back and your support. So explore how your back feels, and then observe the surface you're lying on, whether it's hard or soft, warm, cool. And then again, bring your awareness back to your back, maybe exploring where that space is and where you're touching. And then be aware of the weight of your head and the weight of your back. And if you like, you can just gently roll your head from side to side to release the neck, observing if it feels different one side to the other. And then I'm going to ask you a reflective question. And the reflective question is, how can I bring more balance into my life? How can I bring more balance into my life? Remember, a reflective question doesn't require an answer immediately. You're asking the silence. And I remember when I was very ill with ME, and you'd see these kind of diagrams where it would say, well, if you want balance in life, you have, some social life, some work life, some rest, some exercise. And I would think, well, actually, I can't do any of that apart from the rest bit. But if that's what you need at the moment, that's absolutely fine, because this is all about healing and getting well. So bringing balance into our lives is not about doing more work or more exercise at the moment, because that's maybe not appropriate for you. And also this idea of balance, it might just be balanced breathing is enough. So again, bring your awareness to your breath and think about balanced breathing. Equal inhalation, equal exhalation, if you can, through the nose from the diaphragm. And in a while, we're going to be doing a Yoga Nidra practice. So I've introduced this to you before, but I'd like you to think about an inner or safe resource that you can use at any time you need to. So always in your practice, and you can take this out during the week, you have an image in your mind or a feeling of something that's safe, if ever you feel that you want to bring your mind to something safe. So it might be the breath, which is what I use, or it might be the softness of your hands, or it might be an idea of your pet or a loved one. Just think what makes you feel safe and secure that you can focus on if ever you need it. So this is your safe resource. And then if you don't have back issues, when you're ready, you might like to stretch out one leg, then the other. And then again, we're going to do a little bit of movement and optional chanting, if you would like. So we're going to inhale and lift the arms up to behind the head, to wherever they come to. They might not go all the way back. And then we chant in the back, Samana Namaha. Take an extra breath if you need. Hum or just breathe if you don't want to chant. In your own breathing rhythm, inhale to lift. Samana Namaha. So just 2 or 3 times more, depending on your energy levels, or resting if you need to. So really listen in and honor your energy, working with the principle of ahimsa, which means non-violence. And finish the one you're on. Just settle back, and then we're going to think about the energy of apana. So I said that in this practice we'd explore the 3 pranas, so you can get an idea of the different effects they have. So we've been working with Samana. Now I would like you just to explore apana. So please inhale for a count of 4 and exhale for a count of 6. And if you don't want to count, you can use a different ratio, such as 3 and 5, or just see if you can make your exhalation longer than your inhalation. So focus on your exhale now, not your inhale. And think of the exhalation as being long and smooth. So this is apana, the relaxing, releasing, detoxifying breath. So apana is still one of the pranas, but it's a different way of bringing and working with energy. This is the breath I always use at night if I want to sleep or if I wake up in the middle of the night. A longer out breath. And then releasing the breath now, bring yourself back to your normal breathing rhythm. Focus just on your feet and your hands for a moment or two. And then just observe how you are. So observing the mind, body, the emotions. Now, I don't want to put anything in your head or make any suggestion, but normally breathing like this would have made you feel quite calm and still. So just observe if that's the case. And if it isn't, that's fine too. In fact, rather than listening to my suggestions, just observe how you are. And then, as I said, at the end of the practice, we'll actually work with prana just to give you a little bit of energy before you go back into the day. But that will be later on. So if you like, you can now take one knee, then the other into the chest and hug the knees in. Rock out the legs from side to side. And then drop the hands beside the hips. And if you are fatigued or tired, just rest here. Otherwise, breathing in, slowly lift the right leg. You don't have to lift it all the way up, just softly lift the right leg. Exhale, bring the knee back in. Inhale, lift the left leg. You don't have to lift it all the way up. You can keep the knee soft. Exhale, bring the knee back in. And do that once or twice more to each side. Keep listening into your energy. Rest when you need to. Do not push. And then drop the feet to your mat or whatever you're resting on. Take the arms out like a cross with the palms turned up. Take an in-breath. On your next exhalation, take the knees over to the right. Roll the head and look over the left shoulder. And just take some resting breaths here into this twist. If the knees don't come all the way down, you might like to place a cushion or pad there. But just rest into the twist. Inhale, center the head, center the knees. And then take that in the opposite direction, always encouraging this idea of samana, equalising, equilibrium in the body. So rest on this other side about the same time that you did, so that both sides are equal. So when you think that's equal to the other side, center the head, center the knees, and then to equalize the body, we're going to hug the knees into the chest again, squeeze the knees in, release them, squeeze the knees in, release them. Do that 2 or 3 times more. And then drop the feet to the floor or to your support. Stretch out the legs. Take a moment or two again just to observe, asking yourself the question, how am I? And also another reflective question, what do I need? What is it my whole system needs? So when I say I'm talking about body, mind, emotions, soul. What is it I need? And again, a reflective question doesn't always need an answer straight away. And then when you're ready, please get ready for our deep relaxation. So using, I always say iPads and I mean eye masks. I get teased for that. Using eye masks if you need them, socks, cushions, blankets, pillows under head and knees, whatever you need. Maybe you want to go to a bed or a sofa, whatever you need to make you feel lovely and relaxed. So just start, before we start, think about whether you have an intention that you would like to use, because when we rest deeply and the mind becomes still, our intention programs the unconscious mind in a very powerful way. And if you can't think of a particular intention, you might like to just use the idea of having balance. So you might like to say, I am balanced. So the idea with our intention is it's always set in the present moment, and that we use it every time we do relaxation or Yoga Nidra, because it is programming us in a very positive, healing way. So as we're resting, just welcome every experience you have. That means if it's a twitch or pain or fatigue, whatever it is, welcome it as a messenger that's here to help you experience health, healing, and well-being. And just welcome anything that happens with openness and curiosity. So it's this idea of being curious about our experience in the current moment. So just start by allowing your senses to be open to your environment and all the sounds around you. Welcome any feeling you might have of air touching your skin. Notice with curiosity sensations where your body touches the surface that's supporting you. And encourage a feeling of letting go and being at ease throughout your entire body and mind. So bring to mind now your intention for this practice, any intention that supports you. Feel and affirm your attention with your entire body and mind as true in this moment. And start now by bringing your attention to your inner resource or your safe resource, which I was explaining earlier. So this might be within your body where you experience a felt sense of well-being, of being secure and at ease. Or if it's helpful, imagine a place, person, or experience that supports you to feel secure and at ease. And use all of your senses to enhance this experience. Imagine sounds, sights, sensations, smells, and even tastes that invite ease and well-being into your entire body and mind as you think about your inner safe resource. Just know that you can return to this inner resource at any time, day or night, or during this practice, whenever you feel the need to take a momentary time out to rest and restore and to feel safe and at ease. We're now going to rotate attention throughout the body while experiencing and welcoming all sensations. So become aware of your jaw, mouth, lips, gums, tongue, the entire inside of your mouth, the entire jaw and mouth as sensation. Give up thinking and just welcome sensation in the mouth and the jaw. Become aware of your left ear, right ear. Be aware of both ears as sensation. Left nostril, right nostril. Be aware of the flow of air, the temperature of the air, and the sensation inside both nostrils. Maybe observing it's cooler as you inhale and slightly warmer as you exhale. Feel the sensation of the left eye, eyebrow, temple, cheekbone, the entire left eye, right eye, eyebrow, temple, cheekbone, the entire right eye. Welcome both eyes at the same time. Without thinking, just feeling the sensation of the forehead, scalp, back of the head, neck, the entire face, head, and neck as sensation. Sense your left shoulder, left upper arm, forearm, wrist, palm and fingers. Sensation of the entire left arm and hand. Right shoulder, right upper arm, forearm, wrist, palm and fingers. The sensation of the entire right arm and hand, welcoming both arms and hands at the same time as sensation. Become aware of the upper chest, mid-chest, belly, sensation of the upper back, mid-back, lower back, the entire back of the torso, entire front of the torso, front and back, inside and outside, a shimmering sensation. Bring attention into the pelvis, left hip, left upper leg, knee, lower leg, ankle and foot. The sensation of the entire left foot, leg and hip. Be awake, yet relaxed and at ease, sensing the right hip, right upper leg, knee, lower leg, ankle and foot. The sensation of the entire foot, leg and hip. Welcome both hips, legs and feet all together as radiant sensation. Welcome the entire front of the body, a field of sensation, back of the body, left side of the body, right side, inside the body, outside of the body, the entire body as shimmering sensation. See how you're the observer, watching all of these sensations coming and going and changing, everything just as it is. Feel yourself being non-judging awareness in which all of these sensations are coming and going. Silently affirm to yourself, I am resting deeply. My body is deeply relaxed, that I am aware, at ease, attentive, and awake. Bring attention to sensations of well-being or joy in your body, or recall a memory of a particular person, animal, place, or circumstance that invites joy or well-being into your body. Experience the feeling of well-being, joy, and balance expanding throughout your entire body. Every cell in your body welcoming its natural sense of joy and well-being. Now set aside thinking and memory and settle into simply being, nothing to do, nowhere to be, just a delightful feeling of being. Notice how you're aware of being an observer of this feeling of being and everything that you're experiencing. Allow yourself to dissolve into being observing, being awareness, in which everything is arising. Sense how all your thoughts, emotions, sensations, and sounds are simply movements in awareness. Rest here, being awareness. aware, at ease, everything just as it is, sensing your wholeness, the world around you, and all of life. So take a few moments now to welcome a feeling of gratitude for taking this time to practice yoga, to experience your wholeness and healing. The invitation now, as always, is if you would like to continue to rest, please do so. Otherwise, just begin to move any part of your body that feels it needs to move, such as your fingers and your toes. And taking some time to then move and stretch the whole body a little. And you might like to open and close your eyes a few times. And when you feel ready, please roll to the right side and just stay there for a moment or two, just allowing yourself to come back into the body and into your space and beginning to become a little more alert. Taking as much time as you need. When you're ready, please come up to a comfortable sitting position. So just taking some time to fully be here, rub your hands together, palm your eyes, open and close your eyes behind your soft palms, and then release. Look around your space. And then just to wake ourselves up, we're going to do a bit of tapping like we did at the beginning of the session on our chest. And then we're going to shake out the hands. And if you like, you can clap your hands because this helps to change the energy. And then drop the hands to the knees. With the eyes closed, just take a moment or two to observe how you are feeling. And as always, make this observation without judgment, but with curiosity and a sense of acceptance. And then I did say at the beginning of the class that I was then going to introduce you again to prana. So we'll use a prana breathing technique just to see it. I'm very careful with prana because it can overstimulate, but we can use it very gently just to help us feel a little bit more alert without being overstimulated. So all we're going to do, and you can do this with the eyes open or closed, we're going to count. So we're going to inhale for 3, hold the breath 3, and exhale for 3. So in other words, we're holding the breath after the inhalation, and this increases our prana. So just do that 5 or 6 times in your own breathing rhythm. Inhaling for 3, slow 3, holding for a slow count of 3, exhaling for a slow count of 3. And after you've done that 5 or 6 times, just return to normal breathing. This is actually very similar to a breathing technique that my own teacher is giving me at the moment. And then again, just to observe. So that is so subtle, you might not notice anything, or you might notice something, or you might like to practice that yourself after the class, but remember not to overdo it. So don't do it for too long. But, you know, whenever you just need a little bit of boosting of energy, that's helping the sympathetic nervous system. Inhalation is always associated with the sympathetic nervous system in terms of science. And in terms of yoga, it's associated with the incoming prana. So I hope that answers some of the questions on prana. There's a couple of things I just wanted to say before I close the session. So the first one is that there is going to be no class next week, and that's because I'm going on a fasting retreat. So I'm going to be fasting for 10 days, which is something I'm doing for my own health and energy. I'm thinking of doing a vlog on Instagram just to report how I get on with it, because it's meant to have a very profound effect on resetting the body and healing. But, you know, let's see. So I'll let you know how that goes. So the next class will be in 2 weeks' time, where you might see me looking quite different or not, who knows. But meanwhile, I wish you a wonderful week ahead. As always, I'm very interested in your feedback. You know, how you found working with the pranas, how you found the class today, and also what you would like from these classes is always helpful to me as well. And just one further thing to say, that I have posted a charity thing I'm doing. I think it's the 16th of June, to raise money for the Hope Foundation, but that's on the Zoom letter that I sent out. So wishing you a wonderful week. Thank you so much for being here. It's just such an honour to be together with you in this community. And I look forward to seeing you. I think it's the 28th of May. So lots of love to you all. Have a good fortnight. Take care, everybody, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.